Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Opposite Sides of the Spectrum. I am Lauren.
And I'm Tiara.
And we're just gonna jump right into the news of what's been going on in good old Dallas, Texas.
So as you all know, everybody knows who Keith Lee is, the food, I would call him a food reviewer, food content creator, blogger. He goes around to different restaurants and he reviews them. And usually after he reviews them, they do get a big response of people like wanting to try it, which I think is a really good and like positive thing. But he went to this place, this food truck called
It was Sweetly
Seasoned, but she did change her business name because of all the backlash
That's not cool.
she's receiving. But he recently visited that establishment and he tipped $4,000 plus another $800. And he was the lady. For one, Keith Lee thought that the people helping her were her kids, and it was her son's friends. And he told her that he wanted to give $1,000 to the barber, which was did he leave like her a tip, the lady that helped? Because the lady that helped
like
her,
$1,000 or $1,500, something like that.
the lady that helped her is a big like social media influence. She has her own catering business, so she came to help her friend's mom out. And long story short, she kept the money. And also, he also gave money so the next few people could eat for free. So I guess up until like $1,000 cap or $800 cap of people could come and just try the food so they could eat for free. But the lady ended up keeping all the money. She charged people after the third person. She continued charging people for food, and she kept all the money. And as this story is going around now, I feel like she's trying to save face. She's changed her business name. She's now saying that she's giving the people the money. She's giving her son's friends the money. And it was just a big misunderstanding and miscommunication.
No, it wasn't.
But she like recorded a video of Keith Lee being like, "This is what the money is for."
Like with stuff with cameras and phones, there's really little room to lie and you get away with it.
Yeah.
Just, I think the lesson here is stop being greedy. Greed is not going to get you anywhere. And for me personally, being a blessing to other people, I don't say benefit from that because that's not the whole point. If you're not doing something from a good place, a genuine heart, just don't do it at all. If you're just doing something to get likes, attention, to boost yourself, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And I hope people, like, once again, I think it is really great what Keith Lee is doing, and his generosity is helping other people, but at the same time, also, I don't know if it's like a placebo effect because somebody is saying that the food is good. But I'm not saying like his review is bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I just want to know how many of these people actually like the food versus they just like it because Keith Lee likes something.
Yeah. If
that makes sense.
I feel like, I'm a big like foodie person. Every time I go to a restaurant, I'm reviewing the food. Maybe I need to start a food review channel at this point. But every time I go to a restaurant, I'm reviewing the food. So based off of how I've seen Keith Lee eat other food that he actually likes and the reaction he gave the Sweetly Seasoned food truck, I feel like it was more of like he liked where she was trying to go, so he was trying to support her and push her towards that, but she really blocked her own blessing and really just kind of took a situation that could have snowballed her into being like a great food truck business owner to
back to square one.
Yeah, she's at back to square one because there are a lot of people that's like, oh, I'm not going to support you because we saw the literal video footage and you're sitting here being like, oh, there was miscommunication, misunderstanding. Where? We saw the video footage. Like, where was it?
this goes into accountability. A lot of people do not know how to take accountability at all.
But I feel like that lady should have gave them people their money. She should have gave her son's friends that money. And I feel like she should have been like, look, Keith Lee has came. He has paid for the next 20 people to eat for free. If you want to be a part of that, it's only $30 worth of food per person. And you have to make a post in order to get it for free. Like, she could have turned that into a marketing opportunity instead of just keeping the money and not paying the people that helped her.
And I was telling Tiara too when we were talking about it a minute ago. The son's friends, as Tiara just said, is big on social media. So she could have even asked her for help on how to navigate the social media aspect. Because, you know, a lot of people that's older might not know a lot of what we know, essentially.
And so, me, I'm part of the lot of people that's older. Okay.
So she really just blocked a lot of blessings from multiple standpoints. Like even the lady that was, you know, going off about what she did, if she was nice, she might have even came back and helped, like, just with her clout. I think there's one thing to know you have the clout, but using it in a good way. You know. So she really just messed up herself. Probably, I don't want to say forever, but
the fact that she changed her business name is very telling of the backlash and slander that she's kind of going through right now. Yeah. But unfortunately, she's brought it on herself. Like, I hate to say it like that, but she did.
I don't know why you hate to say it. It's the truth. It's the truth. She did this to herself. Sometimes we complain and we blame other people for our own downfall. Like, she did that to herself.
Oh, but I'm interested to see, because when he went to Atlanta, everybody was so upset about his reviews. But I do believe that he does give very, like, honest reviews. Now, I can always tell when somebody is like, I'm probably going to give them a better review because I like the people and I like where this business could go. Like, I like the vision. And I feel like with that food truck, he liked the vision at the time, and that's why he rated the food and gave the tip that he gave. But I can always tell, because I've seen Keith Lee eat food he actually is like, this is like good, like this is really good, and it just wasn't giving the same energy.
It wasn't, and you can just tell your body language too if you really like something. Yeah, it's very obvious. So I think just the craziest part of when it comes to the issues he's had with doing his food tour, it's been amongst Black people. And I hate to say that, but
and Black-owned businesses, which is frustrating.
It's not surprising.
It's frustrating.
But it is very frustrating that we have so much potential and we shoot our own selves in the foot by just our nasty attitude and nasty motives, essentially.
And that is a very deeper conversation on self-sabotage, actually.
It is.
I think it is.
Some people really are afraid to succeed.
Yeah.
Because once you succeed, there's no stopping. It's like you really in this. So, yeah, that is another conversation maybe for another day.
Yeah.
But that is something to talk about.
Oh, but yeah, we just wanted to touch on that because I know that's something like literally currently happening right now. As we speak, this is currently happening. But support your local restaurants.
Yes. Go
to that little spot that you've been wanting to try and that you've been looking at, and maybe skip the food chains for once and go visit that little spot you've been eyeing. So definitely support your local restaurants. Yes,
and we're not saying this to bash people. We're just telling you what we've seen from our own perspective. So, but anyway, I guess we're going to go ahead and move on to the song that we're going to critique this week. That was actually a song Tiara found this week.
Yes, because one of my jobs is a warehouse job, and they play music, and this is actually a really, before we tell you what the song is, this is actually a really popular song. When it came out, it was everywhere. I really didn't listen to the song like that because I really enjoy music. And there are some songs where I'm like, okay, if I know I'm gonna hear it a lot on social media or something, I don't go listen to it for myself. I kind of let the hype die down, and then I'll listen to it so I can get my own opinion, and so I'm not like just annoyed because I'm hearing the song so much. So this song is, let me get the let me not call it my little, you know how your mama just called the songs whatever. Okay, it's Smoking Out the Window. Silk Sonic, which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, they have created their own little group, which I think is cool. I think their sounds mesh really well together, and their artistry meshes really well together. Like, the songs they make are good. I do like the music. This particular song, okay, I've never liked this song because of one particular lyric in the song. It's always irritated me. But I've actually been forced to listen to the whole song because of my job. And I'm just like...
You really sit back and listen to the lyrics.
And like the tune is good. It gets stuck in your head. But the lyrics are just like, sir, you're doing this to yourself. You're doing this behavior to yourself. Okay, I'm going to read some of the lyrics. I don't want this to play. Okay, I'm going to read some of the lyrics. Must have spent 45,000 up in Tiffany's. Got her badass kids running around my whole crib like it's Chuck E. Cheese. Listen! I tolerate children. I'm not saying I don't like kids, but if your children is running around, please tell your children to stop. Not in my home, okay? It's a no for me. Put me in a jam with her ex-man in the UFC. I can't believe it. I'm in disbelief. This... When it bothers me when people use the word bitch towards women sometimes, and the way it's used, it really
I don't like any of the ways it's used, y'all. Just a disclaimer. Don't call me.
I don't like how it's used, but this song, he says it with just so much passion.
Because he's been wanting to say that.
That it bothers me. It really bothers me the way they say it. But, so, got me paying for rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist, and here I am all alone. I'm so cold. You got me here smoking out the window, singing, how could she do this to me? Oh, I thought this girl belonged to only me, but I was wrong because she belonged to everybody.
Listen here, you don't own people. You don't own anybody. Nobody owns you. Now, have conversations about what you're doing, but you don't own that woman. Just because you buying stuff for her, if y'all never had an actual conversation of where y'all stood, she just bagging, and you mad because you got played. That's what it really is. Women play too. We play very well.
And that's on period. For real. For real.
Like, come on now.
If your children is running around my home, we in a relationship. I'm not just out here spending money on you, okay? Not the kids running around the house.
I don't care if the kids run around, because I'm just around the kids anyway. So if they running around, cool. As long as they're not tearing up something, I'm fine.
Run around me, you tearing up something. So, sit down. But I actually sat and I listened to that whole song, and I'm just like, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, y'all put yourself in this situation.
Okay, and I don't know if you heard, but Anderson .Paak just divorced his wife of like 13 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they just got a divorce.
That's why he was saying this. That's why he was saying that so hard. Interesting.
I just have to throw that little piece in there.
Look, we trying to, you know, we not trying to be censored too much. We not trying to say too many like curse words and stuff. But y'all know that part because it plays everywhere. Everybody knows that part and how hard and passionate he says the B word.
This song was probably from somebody that he's dealt with. Because as a songwriter myself, I wrote stuff where I'm just like, yes, because that person really irritated me. And sometimes the lyrics be flying off the dome. It's not like you need to be mean, but it's just
that passion, that emotion. Like, he says it with so much passion and emotion.
He got his feelings hurt.
Okay, let me find his part, because that's like, the intro part is like Bruno Mars, and then he does, Anderson .Paak does the got me paying for rent, paying for trips, diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist, all that. So let me find the part he kind of sings.
No, he kind of sings.
Gosh, then this other lyric irritates me too. Okay, so just the other night, she was gripping on me tight, screaming Hercules. This is Anderson's .Paak part. Got me in the club looking for a new love. Someone help me, please. Baby, why you doing this? Why you doing this to me, girl? Not to be dramatic, but I want to die.
Not you want to die.
Y'all, these lyrics are out of pocket. These lyrics are out of pocket. Yeah. Out of pocket lyrics. But the tune is good. It stays stuck in my head. But the lyrics are funny and out of pocket to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know some people, they just listen to songs. They don't really like listen to the lyrics like that. But I like to listen to the lyrics because I know music is like an artistic expression. It's like, it can be a story sometimes. So I actually listen to the lyrics. And when that song came on, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll listen to it. Because I'm being forced to listen to it right now. So I listen to the lyrics and I'm just like, therapy. This is why therapy is important. And music is a form of therapy. Would this be a song you released, or you would have kept this one in the vault?
I probably would have altered it and released it. Because of marketing. I probably would have released it, but I would have had a version that I would have not released. Because regardless of what somebody does, I'm not a fan of calling somebody out their name. That is not okay, y'all. It's not okay. I know sometimes we do get to that point where we just say stuff and it's like, I probably should not have said that.
It's only okay with consent. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
With consent only, but not just to do it.
And if I was that woman and everything, I would definitely get my check out of that song. I would call and say, where my deposit? Either that or
because I know he was talking about.
And if you want to play games, I can really blackmail you. Don't play with me.
But no, I honestly, I love Bruno Mars as an artist. I have a couple of his records on vinyl. I do love Anderson .Paak as an artist, but that song, it gets under my skin because those lyrics get under my skin.
Maybe that was the intention of the song too. That
maybe
could be like, cause they knew it was gonna irritate
women,
which draws traction because you
irritate
know
women.
So maybe that also was the purpose of that song. You just never know where an artist is coming from, which is interesting. But I would definitely love to hear the inspiration behind that song.
Yeah. But no, like the musicality of it, the beat of it, the rhythm, the how it's produced, like all that is really, really good. And I see how people can just listen to it and not really like listen to the lyrics. But I'm a person that just, I can't ignore the lyrics. I just can't.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was funny. It's funny, it's irritating, and it gets under my skin a little bit. But it's still a good little tune because it's literally stuck in my head right now.
It's not stuck in my head. Because I don't be listening to it, y'all. I don't be listening to it. But did you have anything else to say about the song you like? Well, y'all, let's move on since it is Black History Month. We want to throw in some just Black history facts that you might not have known. And we're not going to talk about, the people who always get the recognition, but we do want to give it to somebody who is not really talked about or just topics that are not really discussed a lot. So today we're going to just talk about C-sections and where they originated from, which I think Tiara has the link.
Yes, I have the link. Yes, I do. But C-sections were something that was performed by African women and indigenous women pre-colonization. So in Africa specifically, they would give the mother a lot of banana wine. They would burn the tools to sterilize them, and they would wash their hands with banana wine and rinse with water. And then they would start the procedure because that banana wine would heavily sedate the mom. And the only side effect was the mom not being able to produce breast milk as fast. And let me find the names. I'm going to give y'all the names of the people. But I just think it's very interesting how I think a lot of the times when we talk about like slavery and colonization, like we don't think about what was life like pre-colonization. Yeah. We always start at colonization. What was happening before then? Because we were still here. We were still living.
Yeah, without the tools, without all this stuff. Like, yes, some things have gotten better and grown, but also there's some things that we can definitely go back in time and do those same techniques. Yeah. It's like some things are getting worse with more technology that we have.
But yeah, infection, shock, blood loss were very uncommon at the time, which is very interesting because now today it's like the opposite.
And how are they making the incisions? I think that's really cool too, of like the women that were doing the procedure. What techniques were they doing? Because clearly now, and I'm also curious of what tools they were using. I think that would be really cool. And of course, there wasn't a camera back then, so you couldn't record what they were doing. But it's cool just to kind of, from the doctor who did take the notes and brought that back to the Western, hemisphere, it would have been cool to just kind of read his notes and detail what they actually did.
Yeah. But, all right, so the man that initially, saw this, his name was, bear with me. R.W. Felkin actually documented a C-section that he witnessed in Uganda, and he is the one that brought it to the Western world. And Habari Jamari was the woman that he studied at the time that he took the notes off of at the time that performed the C-section.
That's a pretty name.
So yeah, I thought that fact was really cool because I'm like, they were performing C-sections without the sterile doctor's room and the doctors and the equipment and the medicine and stuff. And after the treatment, they would give the mother herbal supplements to help heal the body. Everything that is for us is on this earth. It's not in a package. It's not at the store. It's really here on the earth, and it grows out the ground. I really do truly believe that. So I do think it's really cool learning how people live, again, pre-colonization, essentially. Living off the land, off the earth.
I do think that's cool too.
That's really cool. And Western medicine is not negative, but Western medicine has really turned into just, it's just about money now. Yeah. It's not really about helping people. That's not the goal. It's turned into just capitalism. Yep. So that's what it's turned into.
I agree. But anyway, I guess, do we want to jump into the dating?
Dating advice. Oh, I have another quick little food Black History fact. Edmund Albius was an enslaved man that is responsible for the discovery of vanilla ice cream. He started to study vanilla plants. He probed the plant and found a part of the flower that produced the pollen. Edmund then discovered the stigma, the part of the plant that needed to be dusted with pollen to produce the vanilla bean. Edmund used a blade of grass to separate the two flaps and properly fertilize the plant. He was 12 years old at this time. 12.
Okay.
I mean, look, they didn't have phones.
They didn't.
They was enslaved, unfortunately, very unfortunately enslaved. So it's just like,
you had no choice
what you gonna do?
That's dope though.
Yeah. So he was able to solve the vanilla bean, like he was able to solve the mystery of like pollinating the flower so it produces vanilla bean, which gives us vanilla ice cream.
That is really cool.
Okay.
I had no clue about that. Also, that's really cool to know.
But yes, he is the reason. Every time you eat vanilla ice cream, you gotta think of our boy Edmund Albias.
Hey, I do have some ice cream now.
Oh yes, I love. Me and Lauren did the military diet. So the military diet is like a 3-day, very low calorie diet. I think we consume maybe 12 to 1,500 calories a day. But every day we got to have ice cream. And vanilla ice cream to be exact.
We did.
And I looked forward to it all day, honestly. That's what got me through it, is looking forward to eating that cup of vanilla ice cream. So,
which is actually a lot of ice cream.
It is a lot of ice cream. It is a lot of ice cream. That's why I looked forward to it, because I'm like, I'm going to eat this ice cream. It's going to be so good.
The ice cream was good. It just wasn't what I was looking for. I just wanted the challenge to be over with. I was hungry. I wanted everything that I could not eat.
And maybe like on our TikTok and Instagram, we'll like talk more in depth about like why we did this diet and like how it helped us, and yeah, we'll like give y'all more information about that. But yeah, I looked forward to vanilla ice cream.
You sure did.
Okay, dating. What dating advice do you have for us today?
I've had a lot of advice that I've been trying to figure out which one I'm going to talk about on this particular episode. But I think the dating advice that I have for today is we need to stop prioritizing sex over how somebody treats us.
Yes.
Sex cannot be so good to where you're allowing somebody to mistreat you in a way that was not consensual. Like that, we gotta stop that. We are worth more than 10 minutes or an hour of pleasure.
Sometimes it'd be 10 minutes. Listen. Sometimes it just be the 10 minutes, okay? I think that it's like self-worth. Mm-hmm. You have to have like self-worth for yourself in order to not be out here. Like I am a there's this content creator I follow. I want to give her credit. I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna post her below. But she started to sell merch that's just like, I'm a hoe on pause. Like, I'm not out this whole life, and it's not that I'm not a hoe no more. I'm just on pause right now. That's all. And I really resonated with that, and I really love that, because I believe anybody can do whatever you want with your body. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel good, as long as it's consensual. I don't really care. But I do think once you have sex with a person, it can cloud your judgment about how you feel with them. Mm-hmm. So I do think it is good to be careful about, for one, knowing the type of person you are. I'm the type of person where if the sex is that good, I'm gone. My common sense leaves. It does not return.
It does not, y'all.
It does not return. My common sense leaves the building. Not to return to work.
Talk to the secretary.
She on vacation too. They all on vacation at that point. So I just understand that's how I am as a person. So right now I am being just very, very selective with who I have sex with. And it's not that I don't want to be out here having sex. It's just I understand how I am. And I understand how my body reacts when a person hits that spot in me. And I can't just be out here doing that with any and everybody. But I do feel like when people have sex with people and we call it dickmatized, but when they get matized by them, essentially, it's like all your common sense leaves. And it doesn't matter what that person does, what that person says, you're still going to stick beside them. And I've personally been through that recently, like a couple of years ago with somebody. And this was really somebody I had no business being with, no business being in my home, no business being in my bed or having sex with at all. And that man hypnotized me. And I was gone for a good year. Mm-hmm. A good year I was not here. So I do think it is important. Go have fun, explore, but also be protective of yourself and be selective.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people want to skip steps and just jump to the good part of things, but you start to understand why those other steps were implemented.
Yeah.
Because what started as fun could end bad, essentially. So,
because my little thing started as some fun, and it lasted for a year. It had me going crazy and acting crazy and ignoring certain comments he would give, ignoring that he was not the most stable person. So it was a no. I definitely should have. That should have just been a one night thing and that's it. Or that should have just been nothing at all. But it shouldn't have lasted as long as it lasted.
I feel like for me, I'm hypnotized mentally. If you can hypnotize me mentally, I'm gone.
You're sapiosexual. Lauren is she's a true sapiosexual. I feel like I don't identify as a sapiosexual. I don't. Yes, you have to mentally get me in some way, but a sapiosexual is it has to be intentional and intellectual.
Yes, I need those two. You can have a pretty face all day long, but if you don't have those components, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I'm somebody not gonna want you either, so don't. She's gonna be like, next.
So do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
She'll make sure I don't pass go. Mm-hmm. She will have me on lockdown. Lauren, no, this is not the one. And then I want it to be the one. It's no, keep on going. I'm just sometimes it really be annoying.
But honestly, through our friendship, I have appreciated. You have been sort of an inspiration for me to sit down somewhere, because I have appreciated that you are very selective. And I have another friend that's also very selective of who she chooses to give her body to and engage in sexual activity with. And how clear your mind is when you're not having all those different energies in you is something I really value my mental clarity right now. And that's also why I'm very selective of who I'm going to give my body to in the future, because the mental clarity I have is amazing. It's amazing. It's worth the celibacy journey. It really is. Because I went through a year celibacy journey for myself. And the mental clarity I gained from that is something I don't want to lose. And that's why I'm being so selective right now.
Which I'm very proud of you, because I know that this has not been easy for you. It's not easy to get somewhere and sit down. Your body is used to not sitting down. Mm-hmm. And that's just with anything. Sex, just on your normal day-to-day life. When it's really time for you just to sit down and focus on yourself and your body's not used to that, your body will do everything it can to be a distraction so it does not have to do that. Yeah. So, I commend you.
And we live in a culture and a society of instant gratification. I can pick up this phone and get sex in an hour. An hour! It's that easy. So, especially with how accessible it is and easy it is, yeah, it is hard sometimes. Because there would be some nights I would just be the phone is Tinder is like dick delivery. An hour or less, honestly.
I'm dead.
Honestly.
Amazon.
Oh my goodness, but yeah, it's just everything is just so instant now. So it is nice to just kind of sit down, see what thoughts and feelings are yours and how you truly feel about things, and maybe we're definitely gonna dig into this more, but there are people that are sex addicts, And I believe I was a sex addict, honestly. And I don't think that's something a lot of people talk about, is like sex addiction or using sex to like mask and cover up not feeling your feelings. Because that's also what I used it for too.
Yeah, we definitely don't talk about that. That's gonna be another episode itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the main topic for today
is you finna skip my question, which means
you said you wanted to do it at the end.
This is the end.
I thought you were at the very end.
Okay, so my question is for you. What does the phrase relationships are hard? How do you feel about that phrase? What does it mean to you?
Relationships are hard. They're not easy. There's two people who have different experiences, come from different backgrounds, trying to figure out how to coexist with one another. Some things are hard, but it's worth it if you want it to make it work. That's how I feel about that statement, because sometimes we don't even agree on certain things. And that's in any relationship, friendship, family relationships, romantic partners, your business partners, whatever. Sometimes it is hard. I don't think hard is a wrong word. I think sometimes we want to believe that we live in this utopia that, it's saying hard means you're saying that it's wrong to say that. It's not. I don't think hard is a wrong verbiage, but I just think it's what you put into that relationship. Because it can be hard. Like being a parent is hard. Yeah. But for some people, it's a very meaningful, worth it experience. Yeah. So,
there are things in life that are hard because that's just life. But if there's abuse in your relationship, that's not something to say, the relationship is hard. That's not a hardship of a relationship. Abuse is abuse. Sure. Verbally, mentally, physically, psychologically, those are all abuse. And abuse is not a reason why a relationship should be hard.
Yes.
That is a reason you should leave.
Yes.
That's not something to work through and just be like, oh, we're going through a hard time. No, you're being abused. You need to leave.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just thinking of the side of like, look, from the terminology, but please leave if somebody is putting their hands on you. And I know it's easier said than done, especially if you're used to that type of environment. But that is not a hard relationship. That's a very dysfunctional relationship that you should not be a part of.
Yes,
you deserve better and can do better.
Okay, you was ready for the mystery question. You did not have that response ready.
Did not think I was ready for that question. But I love questions, y'all, so throw questions at me.
Alright, go ahead and introduce the topic now.
Okay, y'all, the topic that we're doing today is actually communication, the big C that y'all don't like to do.
No, I honestly believe most problems can be solved with just communicating with that person and just talking to that person and not just like assuming. And I think a lot of us just assume and we don't really communicate. So,
but I think we can first start out by talking about the different types of communication styles. I don't know if a lot of people have done research on the styles, but I did copy and paste from my good friend Google. So,
it's like 4 of them, right?
Yes, it's 4 communication styles. The first one being passive communication, which basically means that it often looks like not communicating at all for fear of speaking up, which can lead into misunderstandings. And then the next communication style is aggressive communication, which tends to be driven by anger and judgment and can also result in inflexibility. This can create a hostile environment. Passive aggressive communication means that you don't really you don't directly communicate your feelings, but you hold on to negative emotions and let those affect your actions, which can cause confusion and resentment. And then lastly, there's the assertive communication, which means is confident but also respectful of others' thoughts and feelings. Assertive communication creates space for honest conversations and promotes healthy connections between individuals, which I think a lot of people do not do. I don't really hear
a lot of assertive communication going on.
No. The one that I do the most, and I think Tiara can definitely agree with this.
Can I guess yours and you guess mine?
Okay, let's guess.
I'm gonna guess yours is passive. Is that wrong?
It did have passive in it, yes.
Oh, so you think you're passive aggressive?
I can be, yes.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I can be passive aggressive because
okay.
I'm a very petty
Queen Petty. Queen Petty. The true P Queen, because Lauren is petty.
I'm working on it. Why you exaggerating like that? I'm working on it. But okay, it depends also who I'm talking to, because I'm not disagreeing with your response, because I can be very passive when it comes to other people, and then passive aggressive when it comes to other people. So it really depends on the conversation I'm having and what I'm mad about or who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people that I'm very comfortable with, I can be very passive aggressive. I feel like, and then when I'm very scared of that person, or I don't know how to be in that situation, I can come across as very passive and just on me.
Yeah.
So it flips between those two.
Okay. I see that. No, I do see that. Like, when you're comfortable with people, you can become more just like that passive aggressive. Mm-hmm. But if it's just like maybe just at your job, you're probably just very passive.
Yes.
So, that does make sense.
I think I know the one for Tiara. And I say this because I do love you. The aggressive communicator.
Not just the aggressive. Hold on, let me read the aggressive again. Is confident, but also, no, that's assertive. Tends to be driven by anger and judgment and can result in inflexibility that can create a hostile environment. Listen.
Are you disagreeing?
I'm not disagreeing. Okay, I feel like that's where I've started. Mm-hmm. And I've gone to being like passive aggressive. I feel like in romantic relationships, I'm very passive aggressive.
Okay.
But now I am working more towards being assertive.
Yes. You are.
But yeah, I feel like in general, yes.
You mad?
I'm mad because it's true, okay? That's why I'm salty, because it's true.
But no, Tiara really is getting better, because in the past there definitely would have been times where it's just like bop.
Yeah.
But I really have seen the improvement. And I think that's something we're both trying to strive to. Because regardless of what answer we both gave, it's not assertive. So I think that's something we're both trying to
work towards.
Yes. Because all of them are not good. It don't matter if you're on the aggressive side, the non-aggressive. Mm-hmm. It's all, you're not getting the point of the conversation is being clouded by your anger and other factors instead of what that conversation was supposed to be
actually about. Mm-hmm.
So, look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my passive aggressive, I'm really triggering because it's like you want to go off. And sometimes I'm making me laugh. I'm like, I know.
Because Lord, look, you're a passive person, but your pettiness is what brings out your aggression. That's what it is.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not. And Tiara's just straight to the point. Like, if she's mad, she's just mad.
No, honestly.
Which I respect, because at least I just know, okay, she's not in a good mood today. Whereas I kind of drag on the situation sometimes. Like, okay, Mom, what you doing?
I've known, like, Lauren and, like, my friends group for a very long time now, that I can always tell when something's wrong. Yeah. And I'm the person, I'm going to sit there and be like, okay, I'll let you have your little hissy fit. What is going on? Open your mouth and talk, because I let you do your little thing. Now it's time to tell me what's going on and what's wrong. And
I'm the complete opposite, as you already know.
I'm very confrontational. That's what I am.
Which sometimes is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like to be confrontational. If I'm confrontational with you, that means I've had it with you. Yeah. I'm ready to bop you, because I'll just be mad for a couple of hours. Like, because in the past, I know exactly where I get this from. But
same.
But like in the past, when I was mad, I could go 2 weeks, 3 weeks without talking to you because I'm just irritated with you. Mm-hmm. And it's like I want that silent treatment to speak for itself instead of just communicating why I'm mad.
So you were more of the person to like give the silent treatment.
Yes, I would give the silent treatment.
I'm an arguer. I used to argue you down, and if you didn't want to argue with me, I would start nitpicking at stuff and say stuff to get you to respond to me. I don't do that behavior no more. I don't do it no more. But that's why I say I'm very like assertive and aggressive because no, since you want to argue, let's go. Let's argue then. Let's go. Come on.
See, I was just left. I really would have just left. Because I know my words, I try my best not to say things that I know is going to be hurtful to people, but I know sometimes I can say things, like, I know where to, like, hurt you, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, because that's not what I meant to say. But sometimes when you say something, you can't take it back.
You can't.
So,
in an alternate world, an alternate universe, I want me and Lauren to, like, go in with each other. I think that would be funny.
No.
I think that would be so funny.
That's not gonna be funny.
Because you're real petty and I'm real like, come on, let's go. You want to argue?
That's gonna be hours of arguing. I don't feel like
that's gonna be hilarious.
No, it is not. That
would be in my head. That's funny, but in real life, that would be very emotionally taxing and tolling.
I would just leave. Y'all.
I'm not gonna let you leave. That's the thing. I'm not gonna let you leave. I'm gonna pull out that pettiness in you. I'm gonna pull out that fight in you because I'm not gonna let you leave.
Okay, well, you just feel it's hurt. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear it. Because people be pulling outside they cannot handle.
Facts. That too.
And that too. And it's like,
I will say that is a downside of that because it's like, okay, if you're gonna sit there and pull that out that person, be prepared for whatever you done pulled out.
Because sometimes you've never seen certain sides of people because you just haven't reached that point or whatever. But be careful what you ask for because you just might get it.
You just might get it. You just might get it. But yeah, like I do think it's good to like, in a similar way to love languages, and we'll definitely talk about love languages too. But learn how you communicate so you can better like work on the things that you struggle with. But also so you can better communicate with people around you. I used to really struggle badly with communication. I was the type of person that would just, other people had to figure out and assume how I felt and then fix the problem that I didn't tell them was wrong.
And when you say that a lot, it sounds silly, but a lot of us do that.
So I've had to learn to like feel my own personal feelings and then communicate what I'm feeling. And I've only learned to do that through going to therapy, through actually learning like, okay, what is this feeling I'm feeling right now? Because sometimes you don't know how to identify your feelings and what it is exactly. So I've gotten a lot better at that and better at like communicating how I feel and what I feel and not letting things like drag on. I still struggle with that in certain relationships in my life of letting certain things kind of drag on and then being like, okay, this irritated me. But just being more upfront when like someone does something to irritate me or piss me off, of being like, you know, hey, I didn't like this and this is how it made me feel, and being more forward and upfront about it and not letting it fester into resentment and bitterness.
Yeah, and I know a lot of us did not grow up in a household or an environment where we saw a good example of communication. Because growing up in the household I was in, I saw the exact two that we both have. My mom was very aggressive, and my dad was not. So just seeing that type of dynamic, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. It was just, it's just when you see people who don't know how to communicate and you pick up on those habits, even if it's not intentional, and you go into your spaces, it shows. It shows.
So, and also like again, this goes with like self-work and self-reflection, and also like, who did I learn to communicate from? Where did I learn to communicate from? And really kind of digging into that So that was also part of the journey of learning why and how I communicate the way I do, and then taking the steps I need to change.
And it's not a fun process, but when you're in the self-growth stage, which I hope we're continuously in that stage, it's not fun, but
I feel like self-growth is just ever evolving. Like, you're always going to learn. You're always going to need to like learn something from yourself and kind of like grow from it. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you do get to a point where it's like, okay, I know myself. I know how my feelings feel. I know how to communicate. Like, that's what I'm striving towards, of like just being really like confident and comfortable in who I am and how I communicate and how I feel, and not kind of just like struggling so much with certain things. Like, I do think you get to a point where it's like, okay, I genuinely actually feel like this. I do think that point comes. I'm not there yet.
I'm not there yet either, because there's some days where I was just like, you know what, being passive aggressive, it feels good right now.
When you let go of your toxic ways and toxicity, it is very tempting to go back, because it's just something you know and you're more comfortable with. Not because it's the right thing to do,
yes,
but you're just more comfortable with that.
Because it's easier to give like the silent treatment and want people to come after me. Yeah. And it's like, Lauren, stop, I'm too over it. Communicate like that. Because the thing is with me, like, I'll eventually tell you why I was mad, but in the past, it might have been months, weeks later, and it's just like, you should have just said that a long time ago. Like, instead of just building up, because that's my issue. I let things slide, but I'm also keeping tabs on you, so it gets to a point where it like builds up, and then when I'm snapping at you, it's all these things that you didn't even know I was mad about. And it's like, not just say anything. Well, that's your fault too, because you should have addressed it and nipped it in the bud instead of let it continue.
Exactly.
So I'm working on that, y'all. I really am.
And like, you've gotten better too. You have gotten better. You already know what I'm gonna bring up. I feel like you already know what I'm gonna bring up. There's this time where me, Lauren, and another friend of ours at the time were going out for dinner, and it was after one of your basketball games.
I remember that.
And you were just such in a bad mood.
I was.
You were in a terrible mood. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just let Lauren feel her feelings. And I'm going to leave her alone. I'm going to let her be. Because, I asked you, I'm like, are you okay? Do you want to talk? And you were just like, no. You're just very closed off. So I just let you have your time and your moment. And you were fine. You opened up. And later on, after the event, we talked about it and stuff. But I feel like for me, I bring up that situation for me because in the past, I'm a person that likes to pull out of people. And even if you say, no, I'm fine, I don't want to talk, I'm still like, in the past, I would have been like, well, you're clearly mad about something, so what are you mad about?
Because the anger didn't have nothing to do with you. So it was just kind of like, and I didn't even know, I think that was a time where I was really just trying to figure out my feelings. And some stuff, I didn't even know why I was mad. I just was angry. I'm just like,
you just felt something. You don't know what it is.
And I hate when I have those type of days where it's like nobody did anything to me. I'm just mad. And it's like, it really forces you to really think about, why are you mad? And yes, we have our days where we're just moody. Like, that's just a normal part of being a human being. But it's just like, sometimes you really just have to sit with yourself and ask yourself, why am I mad? And ask yourself, is this my energy or somebody else's energy? Because sometimes it's not even your energy of why you're mad, but you're feeling somebody else's feelings. And when they call you and they're mad, like, oh, that's why I was mad today, because they were mad. So it's just like, sometimes you really just have to do that deep digging of why you were mad.
Yeah. But I was proud of myself that day for letting you have your space.
Yeah,
because that definitely would have been an argument. Me and Lauren, we've never had like a friend argument yet.
I say disagreements.
Yeah, we've had disagreements, but we have not had like an argument.
But I don't
looking
like
for
to.
real.
I'm really thinking of all my relationships with all my friends, whether they were in the past or the current friends I've had.
I've never really argued.
And I really don't like to argue with people. I really haven't. I've had, even when I was mad at a friend, like we're still friends to this day. I actually just saw her recently, but when we I'm not gonna say who, but but no, we talked about that situation and just going to like a party of hers recently. And at that time, and I'll ask about the situation because we've already talked about it. So I hope you're not mad at me if you're watching this, but there was just a time back in college where, because we knew each other since, what, 6th grade, I think? So we've known each other for a really, really long time. And there was just a point in our friendship where I felt like my needs were not getting met. And this is something I'm really, really trying to do better with even now, is speaking up about what I need and what I want. And sometimes I feel very uncomfortable when I express certain things of what I need. And I'm still working on that. But we had a conversation and she was very honest. She said, Lauren, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. And I said, okay. I wasn't rude. And I didn't talk. I didn't call. I didn't try to visit. And when I did run into her, I was just very curt with it, and I just kept it moving. And it later came out of why I was mad through a mutual friend of ours. And we ended up talking about it and apologizing. I remember because we both had an exam, or at least I know I had an exam that next day. So we talked about it, but I forgot why I even brought the whole conversation up. But yeah, okay, just wait, you can finish.
No, you finish. Because you caught the thought, so you finish.
I caught the thought.
I guess
I brought that up because that was one of the few times I actually was the first time in my beginning stage of learning how to be a better communicator. I think that was the point. Like, there were still things, mishaps. I definitely should have did better. But I feel like that was kind of the start of me really advocating and asking, are you able to meet these needs? Are you going to do X, Y, and Z? I've never had that type of conversation prior to that with any of my friends. Yeah. So when somebody told you no, I think I'm at that point in my life where, yeah, it would hurt, but I'm also just in a very acceptance stage in my life where I'm just accepting people for who they are. It's not irritating me as much as it did in the past. Yeah. And now we're great. And once again, we've talked about that situation and I think we're just reestablishing certain things because we're just in different pages, but I'm very appreciative of that moment, that experience, because it really taught me a lot about myself as well. So.
And I do think it's good that, like, in order to communicate with people, you also have to develop a safe space for people to feel safe enough to share how they truly feel. Yeah. And the fact she was like, I can't give you what you need. And you just was like, okay, like, sometimes you can't just sit there and beg a person. You can't do that. Listen to people. And that's part of communicating, is listening. Mm-hmm. Listen to people. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. And if the answer is no, or I can't do this, or I can't give you
or
this.
I refuse to.
Yeah, or I refuse to, then that's their answer. That's why you were communicating, to figure out where do we go from here. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that was very fair.
I just walked away. And once again, I should have just been honest and said this is not going to work, but I just shut down after that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be petty. I'm not going to call you. And it's like when somebody really just they say they're not going to do it and they don't, and it irritates you more because they were true on their word. And it's just like, okay. But then when it's like, oh, this person really, from her perspective too, is like, oh, Lauren really is not playing with me. And she didn't realize how serious it was until she knocked on my door and like, can we talk about it? And it's just like, sure. Yeah. But once again, I think we both should have just communicated there. Mm-hmm. Had another conversation about it. It's like, okay. And sometimes the best thing to do is just to walk away. Yeah, and once again, I'm grateful we were able to repair our friendship, but sometimes repairing is walking away.
And sometimes you might have to walk away from some situations. Mm-hmm. Even some relationships, some friendships. some family relationships. Like sometimes you gotta walk away for your own mental health, sanity, physical well-being. The walking away, it's not easy, but in the long run, like you will thank yourself for that, for not going through the trauma you would have gone through if you just stayed in a toxic situation that wasn't for you.
Because you shouldn't have to beg somebody to love you in a way you deserve to be loved.
And I'm not just talking about romantic love. I'm talking about all types of love. Friends, family, these dumb jobs. Too many of us are in toxic relationships with our jobs, okay?
Ooh, that's another conversation. I know I'm in one,
but yeah, like sometimes severing a relationship does not initially feel good, but in the long run, you're going to thank yourself for it.
Yeah. But you have to make that decision. Because if not, people are just going to continue to run over you.
And even if you want to make sure like you have those conversations with people and be open and honest and upfront about everything, so you know that like, okay, if I have to walk away, I got everything out I needed to get out.
Yes. And I think since we're talking about communication, some people think a conversation is automatically going to guarantee a solution. Sometimes a conversation is just for your own healing, not because you expect that person to change, but just like Tia was saying, for you to heal and to move on from that situation. Sometimes that is the solution, for you to take a step back.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to have to do part 2 of our communication. This is going to be like a series. So the style that we're aiming for doing on our show is like doing some like lighthearted kind of like mukbang type episodes and food reviews, but also when we talk about these more like serious topics, is breaking them down in like installments of like series. So this will be the first installment of our communication series.
Yeah, because y'all, it's almost 8 o'clock. I don't even know how long we've been recording.
I think it's been a bit over an hour. I've been watching the time. It's probably been an hour or an hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do a part 2.
Well, y'all, that's the end of our episode for today. We are still working on the behind the scenes with our social media stuff. Yes. So by the time this episode comes out, it's probably gonna be March. It's gonna be posted in our bio. Down below in the links. Once we solidify all that, we will already have that ready to go for y'all. But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Opposite Sides of the Spectrum. Peace.
Bye.